Okay folks, welcome to Friday Waffle once again. It's been a bloody while since I've been sitting here and actually recorded using a decent camera for a change. The camera that I spent a lot of money on specifically to do Friday Waffles with as well. So yeah, I hope you're all good. I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. What have I been doing this week? Let me think. Monday, can't remember. Tuesday I was at pool. We've now at pool, we're no longer playing singles. We were playing like singles tournaments. We're now playing in teams. So I'm in a team of 7 people, and there's 8 teams in total. So you can play each other on a sort of rotational basis. Great fun, really good. I just need to improve. I would class myself as I class myself as an above average player, but the problem you've got is you're playing against guys who are shit hot, and my problem is I don't practice. I mean, it obviously costs a lot of money to practice, but I don't practice out with actually playing in the league. Whereas there's a lot of guys have got their own pool tables and that, and it's like any sport, the more you put into it, the better you're going to get. But I enjoy it, and like anything that I do, whilst I do compete to the best of my ability, it's all about enjoyment, it's about fun, that's the important thing. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday and tonight, not done a great deal. Yeah, you've hopefully watched the video that I took when I was down at the cave in the arcade archive. I'm not a big fan of premiere videos, but I just thought since this was something a wee bit different, I'll put it as a premiere. So the thing that I like about doing premieres is I'll actually watch it and I can take part in the chat, which is quite kind of novel. But I never realised how bloody awful the camera panning was. It was really, really jerky. Now, when I filmed it on my phone, it was recorded at, it was like 29.98 frames per second. It was recorded at 30 frames per second. And the actual stock footage is fine. The problem seemed to arise was when I edited it all together in the editing software and then rendered it. For whatever reason, I don't know what happened. I think I might have. The way my rendering software works is if you've got, say, 5 video clips, and one of them is 60 frames per second, it will always say, do you want to up scale to 60 frames per second? And I'm a bit thick, so I think to myself, yeah, I'll do that, and that'll make everything even smoother. Quite clearly not. That's obviously not the case. So I don't know whether that has somehow screwed it up, but yeah, when I was watching it, I'm like, oh bloody hell! It was fine when the camera wasn't moving, but the minute I panned around, it was like really juddery, to the point that I was pretty disappointed with myself. And I did notice that whilst I had all the comments were very positive about the thing, one guy he made a comment during the live stream saying, no, not live stream, during the live premiere, he said, this is unwatchable, it's far too choppy. And you know what, I agree with him, I totally agree with him. Now fortunately, when I went back up to my computer last night, I still had the original footage. Now normally when I upload a video onto YouTube, as soon as it's on YouTube, I delete the folders. I delete all the files. But for whatever reason, I hadn't done that. So what I did was I cobbled together all the bits again, and then what I had to do is I had to lift the commentary track and overlay it across it. Now there was a couple of bits, it was slightly out of sync. It was out of sync by maybe, I don't know, a quarter of a second, but it's enough. Because when I say, oh, there's an Atari ST, and I've not actually got the Atari ST, so I had to kind of piss about. Excuse me, I had to piss about with it for a wee while. Got it kind of sorted, and what I did was I've taken the original video down. I've not deleted it because obviously if you delete it then you technically lose the views and all that kind of nonsense. So I've just hidden it, but I've uploaded the newer one and I've just called it the same title but called it version 2, and I've explained why I've re-uploaded it. And it's much better. If you only watched the first one and you enjoyed it, I suggest you watch it again, because it's the first one. It was unwatchable. It was really annoying. Even when I was watching it, I'm like, oh god, that is just awful. When it's kind of jumping around really jerkily. So if you even enjoyed it a wee bit, I would suggest you watch the second one again, or watch the second one, because it's the same footage, but it's much better. It's obviously smoother. It's not hard on the eyes. One person did comment and say, whilst they enjoyed it, they said it would have been great to have heard Holly's commentary, because Holly was the person. She was the person that took me around. So you can see Holly in the background pointing out things, and obviously she was talking through stuff. And they said, oh, it'd been great to have had like Holly's commentary. Now obviously we were talking off the record, we were talking about stuff. There was some stuff we're talking about that, I don't want to go to YouTube. There was also a few things that Holly was telling me, kind of secrets, about the future plans and what have you, which she didn't want. But I thought to myself, well, yeah, why don't I? What I could do is edit all the bits I don't want and then leave the good bits. So I contacted Holly and she said she'd prefer me not to do it, because a lot of the stuff that she was telling me is not so much private, but she said it's part of the charm of going to the cave and the arcade. You get to see these things up close and personal, and you're getting a personal guided tour by Holly, and so it's going to be spoilers. So she said no, she'd prefer if I didn't do that, which I totally get. So I made a comment, and the person that asked about it, they says totally understand. So that's cool. But yeah, what a place. It's, as I says, when I went in, it felt like I was back in a computer shop from the 1980s. It was surreal. I mean, I've never been to a computer shop that good that sold that many different systems. But what made it all the more incredible was the fact that all the boxes, all the computers, they were all boxed. All these boxes that you see had computers in them, and they looked almost brand new. Just incredible, and that in itself just helped to kind of create the illusion that you were in some 1982 or 1985 computer shop. I don't know whether Neil and the team were setting out to recreate that. I don't think they did. I mean, obviously you've got the recreated W.H. Smith, which was a stroke of absolute genius. I don't think they did, but just the fact that they use everything as old-fashioned. The only thing, if I was going to be extremely critical, and that has been really critical, the only thing I could possibly say was the joysticks that they had for all the machines. They weren't your Kempston 2s or your quick shots. They were like new arcade sticks which they make on site. But that's me being super picky, They obviously give a much better kind of response than old kind of fashioned joysticks. But yeah, the fact that everything was boxed, and I mean, the bit where I'm in, it's like the PC area. You've got like the Packard Bell, and you've got like a 286 and all that kind of stuff running like adventure games. You had all these Voodoo Effects graphics cards from like early 90s, and the fact that they're boxed and they look mint condition is incredible. You've got to wonder where some of this stuff comes from. I mean, I know Neil makes no secret of the fact that people do give him stuff, and I for one can't think of a better cause. You know, rather than giving it to a friend who's just going to keep it in his bedroom or whatever, giving it to Neil and the gang, you're putting it out there on a platform that everybody can share it. You know, and it's just absolutely incredible. It really, really is. And I mean, I don't mind admitting that I don't donate Patreon to any YouTube channel. It's just not something I've ever done. I don't really watch any channel often enough to, as far as I'm concerned, to merit giving them anything. But after being down there, I've become a patron for Neil's channel, because you know I know at first hand all the money goes, you know, it gets reinvested back into the museum and into the arcade, you know, and it's only going to get even better. And you know, what I will say is, you know, if you live near it, then get your arse along there right now. If you're like me, you come from Scotland or you've got a fair distance, just make a weekend of it, book it, get a hotel, get your arse down there. I'm hoping that we can possibly organise a Mainmeister road trip down to it. I mean, we went to Arcade Club in March, I think it was. Or no, when was it? I can't bloody remember. Was it July? I can't remember. We were down at Arcade Club there. I would like still to go to Arcade Club, but I'm going to suggest to the folks that watch my channel, you know, that see if anyone's interested in getting a road trip down there. You know, get a hotel. We can hire a minibus. I don't know. Let me know if you fancy doing that. That would be bloody awesome. If we got enough people, you know, we could maybe speak to Holly and Neil nicely and see if we could maybe get it to ourselves one day. You know, so let me know what you think. So yeah, I don't mind admitting it's one of the best days that I've had for a long time. It was just as a I wouldn't class myself as a gaming fan. I would almost say that I'm more a computer fan, early 80s computer fan. You know, I get more excited seeing an old 8-bit machine, a rare like a Tatung Einstein or a Computers Links. I'd get more excited about seeing that than seeing some kind of rare game. And like I says, I did mention that in the video. If I was in the position to have something like that, I think Neil has pretty much his vision of what a vintage museum should be like is pretty much what my vision would be like. You know, like I says, the W.H. Smith thing was fantastic. It was like being in a shop. Yeah. Anyway, listen, I'm going to stop talking about it. I think I've said enough. I think I've got over just how good it is. You know, like I says, if you've got even the slightest interest in retro hardware, then get down there. They'll make you feel very welcome. And like I says, I mean, there's the ticket price. I think it's £16 for the day, which is just phenomenal. You're getting to use every system. I think every system that is there, apart from ones behind glass, obviously, you can actually get up and use it. So if you want to have a shot of a Sharp X68000, there's your opportunity. So yeah, what else? So that's kind of been that. Tomorrow I'm actually going down to I'm going down to London with my daughter. We're going down to stay in Camden, and one of Eva's friends is meeting Eva in Camden, or in London I should say, and they're going to, it's a concert. Do they call it concert? I think that's like something from the 70s, a concert. They're going to a gig or a show, I don't know what you'd call it, at Wembley Arena, and it's a I think they're Japanese. It's a Japanese band, and it's all live musicians, but the the singer is virtual, and apparently even her singing, I think it's a she, not too sure. The singer is a virtual voice. It's all AI, and apparently they're huge. I mean, they've sold out Wembley, so yeah, there you go. So we're going down. We're getting the train down tomorrow morning. We arrive in King's Cross tomorrow afternoon. And yeah, we're just going to kind of chill out, and then Ava's going to meet her friend on the Saturday, and I'm tying up with my girlfriend's son. Actually, he's down in London just now, so we're going to tie up, and we'll probably get out and go to a pub and get drunk. Yeah, that's my weekend. Back on Sunday, so looking forward to it. I was watching a video this afternoon of Metal Jesus Rocks. Now, you've probably heard of him. I think, looking at Wikipedia, I think he might have been in a band. Was he in a famous band at any point? I know that he definitely worked for Sierra Online. He's one of the biggest American YouTubers. He did get quite a bit of bad press about maybe 4 years ago, because I think he was asking people to donate money to fund a holiday that he was wanting to take, or a vacation as they call it in the States. And I think he did get a bit of bad press, which, to be fair, I think is probably justified. Yeah, I think it probably is. But he does come across as a pretty sound guy. Seems like a nice guy. He's into his rock music. It's funny, if you watch any of his videos, there's another guy, one of his mates he does all his videos with, and they call themselves, they goes, alright dude, blah blah blah, every second word's dude, which I think is hilarious. But no, he seems like a solid guy, so you know what, I thought, why not? I've dropped him an email, introduced myself, and I've said to him, I've asked him if he fancies coming on the channel, probably, you know, a nice and nasty. He's got, I don't know, he's got about 500,000 subscribers. What is the chances of him coming on my channel? Probably none. But you know what? You can only ask, he can only ignore me, or he can only decline. We'll see what happens. But anyway, he was at, is it the Portland Retro Show, or Retro Fair, in Portland, funnily enough, which I can't remember where it is in America. But what was evident was just how huge these things are in America. I mean, I thought that like Play Blackpool and that were big. The size of the hall that this thing is in is probably, I reckon, probably 5-6 times the size of anything I've been to. Just absolutely incredible. And it's interesting because, I mean, 20 years ago, like retro, I hate that term, I really do, but old games like, you know, the SNES and the Mega Drive and that, nobody was really interested in them. You know, nobody was interested in the Commodore 64 20 years ago. I was, and a small group of us was, but you know, back then, and as Steve Benway would be able to verify, back then you could go to a car boot sale or flea market, as they call them in the States, and you could pick up a computer for like maybe a £5 or even less. I mean, there's you know, you hear of people picking up stuff for like £1, and it's because nobody was interested. You know, it was such a no. It was like, well, we were like dinosaurs, being into all these old systems, and so yeah, nobody was interested. And now fast forward to 2024, and the hobby is just massive. It is so big. Yeah, it's incredible how vast this hobby of ours has become. And yeah, he was talking about some of the prices of games. I mean, I was talking about last week. There was a guy selling, I think it was I did a live waffle last week. There was a guy selling a current Zelda game. Was it Breath of the Wild or something? He was selling it for, how much was it? $400. And I messaged him. I didn't message him, I just made a comment. I says, alternatively, you can buy it brand new for 50 quid. And then somebody came up, oh, but he's got it valued, he's got it, what, I can't remember. There's that organisation that rates games. They'll say this game is a 9.9. You know, a 10's obviously perfection. That was you've all heard of the game, the Super Mario game that sold for like 4 million. That was apparently rated like a 9.8 or something. And yeah, this guy was selling a game that is currently available from Amazon, and he was wanting $400 for it. And so when I kind of called him out, because whilst I'm not going to piss in somebody's parade, if somebody's trying to sell something for a lot of money, I mean, you frequently see people selling, I don't know, Commodore 64 for 400 quid or whatever, a Vectrex for like £1,000. That's fine, that's up to them. Excuse me, what they're asking. If somebody is foolish enough to pay that, that's up to them. The thing is, you can't just go into a shop and buy a Vectrex. So if somebody's wanting a lot of money for a system that's no longer currently available, that's fine. People will pay what it's worth. But when somebody's trying to hoodwink, and that's what I'm going to call it, when somebody's trying to sell a game for $400 and you can buy it for 50 quid, that's taking the piss, and I would hate to think that somebody actually gave this guy $400 for it. And so, like I says, it wasn't him himself, but another guy came back and says, yeah, it's because he's had it, because it's brand new, the game, he's had it rated, and it rated as a 9.8, and he says that will now become a collector's item, so that in 30 years' time, he will be able to give that to his kids and say, there you go, guys, there's a game that's worth $10,000 because it's like 9.8 condition. Well, why don't you, like I did, when that Super Mario game sold for 4 million, I went out and bought a second copy of Breath of the Wild for the Switch and Super Mario Odyssey. I bought them, they're still wrapped, and the reason I bought them is I'm hoping that in 20 years' time they're going to be worth 5 million quid. I know that's never going to happen, but yeah, if you really want to be kind to your kids, buy them a brand new game, put it in a sealed bag, and then in 20 years' time they can get that bloody company to review it or to assess it for the condition. But yeah, just nonsense. And then there was somebody at that Portland Retro Convention thing, they were selling, was it a Pokemon Game Boy boxed, and he was wanting, was it $7,000 for it? I mean, what? Sorry about that, folks. That was a jump cut just to replace the battery. But yeah, I think people like myself, and even like that Metal Jesus, he was saying that he refuses to pay stupid money for things. I think people like ourselves who've been into the hobby for, I've been into the hobby pretty much since 2000. So that's 25 years I've been kind of collecting stuff. I just would not pay daft money for something. Maybe people that are quite new to the hobby wouldn't think twice about paying daft money, but it's about keeping sort of using a bit of common sense. Would you seriously want to pay $7,000 for a sealed Game Boy? If you were going to pay that kind of money, you're obviously not going to pay that to take it out and use it. You're buying it to hopefully appreciate and value. Really, you could end up paying that kind of money, and then 5 years later, nobody's interested. And that's the problem with things like that. You could pay a lot of money for something, and then suddenly the market the bottom falls out, the hobby, and you're stuck with something that you paid all that money for. Nah, don't get it. Anyway, folks, listen, I don't think I have got anything else to talk about. Well, just very, very quickly, my channel, I have been doing a few live streams over the last couple of weeks. As I've always said, I will continue to do live streams when I want to, when I can be bothered. It's not going to be all the time. I have enjoyed the last ones. I enjoyed the Friday Waffle. I really enjoyed the Sunday live stream a couple of weeks ago. Will there be a live stream this Sunday? I don't know, By the way, I just want to say a massive thank you to Frank, I think it is. Frank does watch my channel. He has been asking me for an MSX stream for a while, and I will do it. Now, Frank very kindly made a donation to my channel, which is massively appreciated. I don't mind admitting I don't get many. So, you know, and I absolutely don't expect anything. This is a hobby for me. You know, I don't expect anything. If somebody wants to chuck something, that is really, really nice of them. So massive thanks, Frank, for doing that. It is appreciated. And yeah, I will do a live stream, MSX flavoured live stream at some point. If I'm around on Sunday, I may well do that. I'll see. I'll obviously put the usual notifications up on Facebook and Discord and YouTube as well. So I think that's kind of it. Yeah, I've not been watching much in the way of retro. The only channel it's the only channel, Friends channel that I've been watching recently, and it's just down to the lack of time. It's down to the lack of time, not because I don't enjoy other people's channels. As Del Boy's been doing a series where friends or his will pick games and he'll play them. I've been enjoying that, and I think the sweet spot for videos is about 20 minutes. You know, if you look at any of your videos that you put out, if you're a content creator, if you look at any video you put out that's like, you know, it doesn't matter if it's over like an hour or whatever, the average watch time might be 10-15 minutes because people switch off. I've done it as well. I've put a video on to watch somebody and I get halfway through it and I think, right, I'll watch that later on, I'll come back to it. So yeah, I think Dale's kind of hit a sweet spot with these things. They're interesting. He talks about it a wee bit and then he plays it. I was shouting at the camera or shouting at the TV the other day there. He was playing Castle Wolfenstein, even though I'm sure, Dale, did I not pick Beyond Castle Wolfenstein? I thought I did, and you played Castle Wolfenstein, but that's fine because both are great games. I was shouting at the TV because when you part of Castle Wolfenstein is you've got to open up chests, and some of them can take maybe about a minute and a half to open. And Dale said that a kind of valid point. He says when he was recording the video, some of the chests were taking like a minute, whatever it was, to open. So he was kind of cutting, he was pausing the camera and then like unpausing it to kind of save time. But what he said was, don't look upon that as a negative for the game, look upon that as a positive, because what they've tried to do is they're trying to recreate, if you were in a castle and you were trying to escape and you were surrounded by Nazi guards, you're not going to break into a safe instantly. And that's like any game you play nowadays, the game is, you open a chest, it's instant. Whereas, you know, to try and recreate, if you're a prisoner that's just escaped, you're trying to get into a chest, it's going to take you a bit of time. But what you can do, and again this adds to the realism, and Dale didn't know this, if you shoot the chest a couple of times, it will drastically take the time down. I think you do a search and then you shoot it a couple of times and you'll see the time drop. So that's a top tip if you're ever playing Castle Wolfenstein or Beyond Castle Wolfenstein. Right, anyway folks, I'm going to go. Apologies about it being quite a short waffle, but I'm going to get going, so I might see you on Sunday. Like I said, if you did watch the Retro Man Cave video, the first one, watch it again. It's a lot better. It's easy on the eye, and hopefully you'll enjoy it a wee bit more. But like I says, if you do get a chance to get down there, go. Honestly, it's I can't wait to go back. I really can't. So anyway, folks, I hope you have a great weekend, and until next time, as always, thank you very, very much for watching.